Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, beautiful soul family, and welcome to Weekly Wisdom and Insights, your home for spiritually guided transformation and empowerment. I am your host, Dearjames, and together with the unseen, Spirit, Source, and Symphony, we look at the current energies, the intuitive wisdom and insights, and we go as guided. And action-packed, I keep saying this, action-packed as always. These are all the notes for the show. I do this every week with the unseen. And then they, of course, the Master Weaver, they assemble everything. So let's jump in. And this is all, welcome Olivia, welcome Alicia. This is all about Uranus in Gemini. It is the final fifth outer planet, shifting signs, coming up on the 7th of July. It is going to move, Uranus is going to move into Gemini from Taurus. Before it does, it's going to conjunct Venus. But this is really, so Venus, 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 we've talked about this. But this whole entire show is about Uranus in Gemini and how these energies are going to play out. We're going to get a taste from July 7th to November 7th. Uranus will be in Gemini. It's going to retrograde back to that end degree in Taurus and then move forward. I believe it's April 25th of 2026. It will officially move back into Gemini and be there for the next 7 years till 2032, 33. The moral of the story is revelatory. This is the final one. Pluto has moved. It's officially in Aquarius. Saturn, Neptune and Saturn, they're in Aries. They're going to retrograde a little bit. You'll see how that plays in. They're going to go back to the end degree of Pisces and then move forward. And Jupiter is in Cancer. So all of the major outer planets shifting, moving. And so let me just bring up what our main theme is, because we're going to start there. Clarity. A bridge to the past, ... future. Uranus in Gemini. And we have this, and Uranus represents the higher mind. It represents the shock and awe, expect the unexpected. Yes, Olivia is saying, will we survive until then? We will. It doesn't mean that it's not going to be challenging, painful to bear witness. However, yes, we will, because the moral of the story, the arc of destiny moves forward. And you're going to see throughout this show, and it's important to remember when you watch Weekly Wisdom and Insights, while they're weekly, these energies arc out for sometimes months and years. So whenever you come upon one of the shows, it's perfectly timed. It's divine time for you to receive it. But yes, to Olivia's question, yes, we will survive this, and not only survive, but thrive. However, what we are witnessing is the collapse of the old infrastructure, foundations, systems, era. this Piscean patriarchal era, and to realize that that's been with us all of our life. Anyone that's in the world now, we've only known this. And so it's 2,000 plus years old. And then all of a sudden, here we are, matriarchal, Aquarian era, we the people era, innovation, this advance. And you'll see, major advance. So we chose to be here, and clarity. This is something about Uranus in Gemini, all the major planets shifting. This form of clarity it's putting it all on the line. It's putting it all up front, in your face. Remember, we've talked about the ostrich. You will not be able to look away, and nor should you. We must face how we got here. These are collective choices, all comprised of individual choices. And the universe, the unseen, is saying to us, bear witness to the best, because the best of the Piscean patriarchal era is what we take with us. We take it forward. A healthy ego, mind, personality in service to soul source connection. However, we must also bear witness to that which is the height of its shadow. The goo, the ick, the fear, the anxiety, the greed, the hubris, the oppression, suppression. We have to bear witness to it so that we never do it again. We make better choices. And so is this, to Olivia's point, will we survive this? Is this painful? Without a doubt, without a question. However, as you'll see through today's show, and there's a lot to get to, this is all about the choices we make, the energies we carry, where we place our thoughts, our emotions, our energies, that we're for something. We may be against something, but place your energies where it's for something, and allow that wave to carry us, to carry you forward. So again, main theme, clarity. It's going to be very clear. Left, right, up, down, this, that. It's going to be very clear. And it is a bridge to the past, meaning you have to know where you've been in order to know where you're going. So a bridge to the past, ... future. This is ultimately a bridge to the future. But one end of it is connected in where we've been, and Uranus and Gemini. So we begin there. There's a Bible verse. It's Isaiah 53:6. And we always reference these from a spiritual place. All of us, like sheep, have strayed away. We have left God's paths to follow our own. Yet the Lord laid on him the sins of us all. So there's a very prescient point and poignant message here, which is, where have we strayed from the way? Where have we allowed our ego, mind, personality to mislead us, to keep us from being our divine selves? And what are the choices we make to realign with that? You'll see that this is in our mantra. Let's just go there for a second. Our mantra: align, release, renew. And you see that these are beautiful peacock feathers, and it's just so brilliant and iridescent, because the point is, align with your soul source connection, with your true north, the way. Align. Release what no longer serves. It can be a person, a place, a thing, and a belief, a way of being, restrictions, anything that is in that category, in that bucket. Release it. Because what ultimately happens when you align and you release, you renew. You're renewed. So this is where we begin with all of this. I'm going to start with, this is from moonomens.com. It's the July 2025 astrology forecast. It's an excerpt. And they speak of our invitation. This is an invitation. It's a fait accompli, but it's an invitation. So July 2025 is a month colored by the dance between the past and the future, between the urge to move forward and the need to slow down, revisit the past. We got to know where we've been to know where we're going. We got to know what doesn't work and what not to do again and what does not go into the new. So slow down, revisit the past, and make sure we have learned our lessons before we do so. While Saturn and Neptune prepare to return to Pisces, they're going to retrograde, asking us to close cycles and deal with unfinished business. Uranus's ingress into Gemini propels us toward the future at the speed of light. Clarity, a bridge to the past, ... future. Together with Pluto's transit through Aquarius, Aquarius's modern ruler entering Gemini accelerates. So Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. So here, together with Pluto's transit through Aquarius, modern ruler entering Gemini accelerates the pace of humanity's evolution, facilitating technological and scientific advancements, as well as shifts in education systems and media. You see everything. Everything is under assault. Everything we've ever known is under assault. Institutions, news, media, governments, the way of life, it's all under assault because we're going to dramatically shift. These transits will also exacerbate the tendency to disassociate from the felt sense of the body and live in the mind, in virtual realities, escapism, or in a constant state of information overwhelm. We need to stay centered and grounded, calm. Again, to Olivia's point, will we survive this or survive until then? Yes. However, don't spin out. Don't get caught and sucked into the frenzy. Discernment, stay informed, but stay calm and centered. Pierce the illusion, the veil. See beyond what's on the surface, because this is all happening for us. It's painful. However, it's happening for us. Moon omens, they conclude, we are experiencing a massive shift in collective consciousness. As we navigate these times of transition, the challenge for us is to find ways to carry the lessons of the past into the future. Carry the lessons, not the actions, not the choices. The lessons, the gift, the pearl, not the irritant. While staying anchored in our bodies, centered, grounded, open to receive. So while staying anchored in our bodies, in our values, and in the present moment. These are major times because this Uranus in Gemini, the first thing the unseen said was, it came, it comes in like a wrecking ball. It's the Miley Cyrus song, it came in like a wrecking ball. It came, comes in like a wrecking ball. Life, love, work. And then they did capital letters and spaced them out. Change. So this massive change in all aspects of our lives. It came, it comes in like a wrecking ball. Not to harm us, not to hurt us, not to amp up anxiety and fear and have us shut down. It's coming in like a wrecking ball to dismantle. Remember a couple shows back, deconstruction, construction. The future is contained in the past, and the past is contained in the future. So this comes in like a wrecking ball to dismantle the old. It'll be shocking, jarring. It's Uranus. Shocking, jarring, destabilizing. A lot of WTFs. What the flip? PG version. So, okay. So it's going to come in like a wrecking ball. 1 through 5 from the unseen. I'm just going to front load all of this because it's at the top. So it comes in like a rock. It came and comes in like a wrecking ball. Then the second thing from the unseen, shockwaves. Shake, rattle, and roll. The earth shifts, tilts forward. So this shockwaves, so again, Uranus in Gemini. Gemini are the twins. It's ruled by Mercury. So what we think, how we communicate, electronics, media, all of these things. So shockwaves, shake, rattle, and roll. There are two aspects to shake, rattle, and roll. The first one is we could see during this period of time, and certainly it comes in like a wrecking ball, so I use the term front-loaded. These are front-loaded times. So between now and April, May of 2026, it's going to be front-loaded. Obviously, Uranus is going to be in Gemini. All the major planets shifting. These are going to arc out for, from a few years, depending on the outer planet, to, 7 years plus. Pluto, many years plus. Its orbit is, I think, 264 years off the top of my head. Pluto going around the sun. So you're talking quite a long time. And again, think this has not occurred. So Pluto in Aquarius hasn't occurred since the French, American, and Industrial Revolutions. There are things that are happening. Uranus in Gemini. The last time was World War II, that era. The time before that was the American Civil War. Liberation. But each time, oppression, suppression, evil, shadow was snuffed out and people were liberated. People advanced. Humanity advanced in its morals, in its ideal. So is it painful to go through? Yes. But here, number two, they're saying, so shake, rattle, and roll. The Earth shifts, tilts forward. There's been a lot of discussion about the magnetic poles and the polarity, and does it completely shift and switch? I'm going to post some articles on the Dearjames Facebook page for the show thread speaking to this, about how the extraction of groundwater has caused Earth's axis to shift dramatically. In like 2 years, it shifted dramatically. When the moisture is depleted from the Earth, it goes up, it goes into the ocean, because the atmosphere is drawing more water. We, humanity, pumping water, selling it to ourselves, all this stuff. It shifts the balance of the Earth. When that happens, the axis shifts. So there's a lot here about shock waves, shake, rattle, and roll. The Earth shifts, tilts forward. So we can see this in seismic activities, tsunamis, landmass adjustments. We can see this. That's kind of the tangible, because, Uranus, Taurus, fixed Earth sign, and then it's going to move into Gemini, an air sign. So we have that going on. And then also shake, rattle, and roll can mean to move around energetically, often in a lively or fun way. So go about all of this massive change, this transformation, to the best of our abilities and your ability, in a lighthearted manner. Find the joy, be childlike. Know that it's for us. Know that however it appears in our individual lives, it's there to propel us forward, to shake loose the old identities, labels, scripts, stories, truths, masks, all of this stuff, to bring us to the purity of our soul self. Because in the matriarchal Aquarian era, it is the soul that leads. It is not divine masculine that leads, ego. It's divine feminine, intuition, heart, soul that leads. So we have shock waves, shake, rattle, and roll. Number 3, unpredictable, undetectable, can go unnoticed. Now there's great clarity. So this is not about, however, what the unseen is saying here is, so Uranus, it can be unpredictable, shocking. It can be undetected. You'll see why, because when I show you the astrological charts here in a second. And it can, it goes unnoticed. It goes under the radar until what occurs, boom, presents itself. So let me stop there for a second and show you why. Here is the astrological chart for the event of Uranus entering Gemini. In the center, in the circle, there are two aspects that were, one immediately popped out. So you see the kind of lighter triangle where the tip is facing down to the moon. The upper part to the left is Mercury, and then the upper part to the right, it's the lighter blue lines, is the vertex Saturn and Neptune. This image immediately said to me, stealth bomber, you know, like the B-2 Spirit or the B-21 Raider, stealth bomber. The issue about the stealth bomber is that it flies under the radar, meaning it's got its futuristic capabilities, its technologies and everything avert radar systems and so forth. They don't see the aircraft coming. So this is where that unpredictable, undetected or undetectable, unnoticed until the events hit or happen. So we have this aspect of this kind of stealth. So Uranus in Gemini and the final shift in all of this, it's like a stealth bomber. It can fly under the radar and then go wham. There's the aftermath of it is then realized and felt. The other thing, while this simultaneously is happening, is you see then the darker blue triangle. Top left is Uranus and Venus together. They're conjunct. At the tip, at the top of the triangle, this mini grand trine, is vertex Saturn, Neptune. And remember, Saturn and Neptune are going to retrograde. They're going back to the past. Uranus, Venus, Uranus, they're moving forward. See, divine feminine, conjunct Uranus as they enter Gemini. They're together, hand in hand. So they then are racing to the future. And at the other tip of the triangle on the right side is retrograde Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is advancing. It's we the people. It's advancing. So you can see that, and that triangle said to me, it's like there's a window to the soul. It's a window to the future. So while we're dealing with and the stealth bomber, and you know the point of the stealth, it's pointed towards the moon. The moon reveals what's hidden. It's, it reflects, it reveals. And so here you have this incredible kind of aspect of dismantling, disorganizing the past. And at the same time, here's the unseen saying, do you not see in pyramids, triangles? You'll see this in a second in the other chart. Do you not see this window, this opening, this opportunity to the future? It's like stepping through the threshold or over the threshold, stepping through the looking glass. There's more. There's something great awaiting us. Do we have to deal with this moment? Yes. And we will. And we will be successful. Because every time Uranus has been in Gemini before, it has been successful. Oppression, suppression, hubris, arrogance, entitlement, all of that is overcome, destroyed. And humanity recognizes its depravity and lifts the people up, lifts people up. How this will occur, remember, we always talk about astrology is not identical, however, it is cyclical. So how will this, history repeats, if you will, but not identically, not in the same way. So how might we see what happens in this time present itself? And here's the astrological chart 4, and this is about the pyramids and the triangles and everything. This is the event chart for Venus is conjunct together with Uranus on the 4th of July. So this is saying to us, and what this said to me, again, intuitively, is I heard pyramids. So pyramid building, it immediately took me back to ancient Egypt. And this whole thing about, this is one of the most prized ancestral ancient civilizations. And the technologies, that we still can't replicate or explain today. We still can't do it. And so what they're saying with this chart, and it's Venus, Isis, Divine Feminine, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, the great mothers, the Divine Feminine, matriarchal. They're speaking to this aspect of pyramid building, which then coincided intuitively, they said team building. So this pyramid building, team building. So it's antiquities, it's ancient Egypt coming together with we the people, team building, how we come together. And there's a higher octave to this because, of course, you believe what you wish. You know, were these pyramids that we still can't replicate today built by humans? Question mark. Pretty hard to fathom that that's the case. Because if they could do it that many thousands of years ago with quote unquote primitive technologies or abilities, how is it that in the 21st century we're unable to do it today? We're unable to replicate it. Higher octave. So this is what all of these energies are speaking to. So with the Venus conjunct Uranus, this pyramid building, team building, ancient Egypt, these, you know, this wisdom and knowledge and way of being that far surpasses where we are today. And then Uranus in Gemini, that chart speaking to the stealth bomber and this window to the soul, to the future. And I just want to bring back up one more time because it's such a beautiful, that mini grand triangle is so, there's something so auspicious about it. It is literally like the doorway to the future, to another world. And yet you see in the four to the left, the stealth bomber of everything we're dealing with of the past, how we overcome it. And yet the window is right there. The doorway, the window, the portal, the opening, it's right there. So a lot of major, incredible energies. So that's with that. And continuing with number 3, the unpredictable, undetectable, unnoticed. This was a very commanding statement from the unseen. They said, go with the flow. So in other words, do not fight yourselves. Do not, swim upriver needlessly when you don't need to. When you hear your soul source connection, your knowing, tell you to do something, guide you. It's not ego, mind, personality, human. It's soul. You'll feel it. You'll know it. It's go with the flow. Go that direction. Do that thing or don't do that thing. But it's very much go with the flow. Go with the grain, not against it. And for anybody that's ever done wood shop or worked with wood, when you sand a piece of wood, you sand with the grain. And when you do that, it reveals the beauty of the grain of the wood and everything. If you sand against it, it's like running sandpaper across your skin or something. I mean, it just completely disrupts the grain. So this is all about go with the flow, go with the grain, not against it. And so with yourselves, go with the flow of what your soul is guiding you to do, especially during this time, because it's number 5 from the unseen. 5 denotes change. I'm skipping 4 for a minute. This is going to be a liberating ordeal. Transformative. The definition of transformative is causing a marked change in someone or something. Well, we all are the someones, and the world we live in, the relationships, the organizations, the old structures, those are the somethings. So a liberating ordeal, it's going to liberate us from the past, and it's going to be transformative. The unseen said lots of major moves and movements. So moves and movements. We've talked about land masses and the Earth's axis and all of these things in our own individual lives. How are we moved forward? Lots of moves and movements. Go with the flow. Go with the grain, not against it. Know it's happening for you, not to you. There's so much here. They said forward movement is underlined upon us. So while it looks like we're going back to, I don't know, 1900 or something, again, that's the fire-breathing dragon that's been pinned down, chained down. Its head is thrashing and wheeling. It's trying to spit fire and everything. So it looks like we're going backwards. That's an illusion. All that's doing is bringing up clarity, smack in your face. Is this, here is the result of our collective choices. Is that what we want? Is that what you want? When the answer is no, clarity. Not this, that. And it will propel you forward. So forward movement is upon us. Open to the way. So this is very personal. And a lot of this came through in a client's reading on Monday. And I said to her, this is, you're going to see this. If you watch the show, you're going to see a lot of what was specific to her, but it applied to the collective, to everyone. They're saying open to the way, not necessarily your way in a good way. What this means is when we open to the way, the Master Weaver, the host, the all that is, the unseen, they are guiding, God, Allah, Buddha. They are leading. Your soul is leading. When we open to the way, we're aligned with it. It's not necessarily your way. So the unseen is saying, we may have this idea, this vision or whatever of, this is what I'm doing. It's that old saying, life happens while you're planning. So forward movement is upon us, open to the way. It will not necessarily be your way in a good way, meaning there's something greater for us. There's something greater for you. So be open to that. Align, release, renew. It's going to be this beautiful, where we thought we might be going or what we might be doing or whatever. Uranus, shockwaves, it's the tower, and the towers can be positive. They don't have to be negative. All of this, we have a choice of how we experience it. We have a choice, we're receiving it based on our choices. So these are all important things. And last but not least, number 4, because there's 7 things here, but these all go together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they all go together. 4, which is foundational, the unseen said, what the soul values, defines, and radiates. It's what the soul wants. It's what the soul chose. Not ego, you can see, not your way. There's a higher, better, more way. The way. And thus, it's what the soul values, defines, and radiates. This is purity personified. ... Luxury. That is the definition of luxury. When we are so in the flow, when we are so expanded, when it's all just green lights and open doors, it's because we're in alignment with Source. We're in alignment with our soul. There's not obstacles. We're not swimming upriver. We're not our way. We're in alignment. We're in flow. And we're rising up and flowing and greeting the highest octave of ourselves. That's like an Autobahn open. There's no one on the freeway. It's just, you're up Autobahn and there's no one on the road but you. I mean, there's something so freeing and liberating about that. As opposed to pick any any city in the United States, try the 405 or the 5 at rush hour. It's a parking lot. It's not a freeway. There's nothing freeway about it. It's a parking lot. So this is where we're going from to. So now let's move into astrologer Chani Nicholas. This is her Uranus in Gemini guide. Uranus in Gemini. The planet of rebellion and disruption is bringing a full system upgrade to the sign of the twins. Gemini, the twins. This is Castor and Pollux. The coming months, introduce the first waves We just had purple wave. A purple wave is coming to ride the crescent waves. So here, the coming months introduce the first waves of a much longer transit that will transform the ways we consume and share information. If you've been stuck in a mental rut, Uranus and Gemini will help you change your mind and then change it again. Uranus is the planet of shocks, surprises, upheavals, and revolutionary change. As a slower moving planet that takes approximately 84 years to travel through the zodiac, Uranus tends to spark historic flashpoints in our ever-evolving world. If something's got to give, Uranus is happy to offer the necessary push. So again, go with the flow. You do not want the cosmic 2x4 whacking you in the back of the head. It is not pretty. You'll only do it once. Because when you come to realize you knew all along, I should have done this or I should not have done that, and you do it anyways, Uranus is happy to offer the necessary push. The unseen is happy to take the cosmic 2x4 out and just whack the crud out of you, for you, to move you forward. Channing Nicholas continues, the only planet that spins on its side as it orbits the sun, Uranus helps us perceive old problems from fresh angles. It's the Hanged Man card in the tarot. It's about seeing things with a new perspective, new eyes. Uranus is more concerned with bravely leaping forward into the future than clinging to the past, and it highlights what's ready for a reset in our lives. When Uranus abruptly departs from tradition and disrupts the status quo, it's ultimately bringing us closer to personal autonomy, we the people, Aquarian age, matriarchal, this personal autonomy, and collective liberation. This is what the past fears. Oh my gosh, heaven forbid you'd be divine, sovereign, autonomous. Heaven forbid we can't control you, manipulate you. That's what they're trying to hang on to. And the people, because it's within us, it's in our DNA, it's in our soul, in our consciousness, we say, no, we've been there, done that. There's a whole new, that triangle, that mini grand trine, there's a whole new world on the other side of this. I'm stepping through the looking glass. It's Narnia, I'm falling through the back of the wardrobe closet into a whole other world. That's what we're talking about. So when Uranus abruptly departs from tradition and disrupts the status quo, it's ultimately bringing us close to personal autonomy and collective liberation. But sometimes the rabble-rouser of the cosmos can take things too far and tear down structures that weren't broken in the first place. So again, to Olivia's point, will we survive this? Well, yeah, but sometimes the dismantling affects things that, good things, but at the same time, it's a complete renewal. It breaks down the old. So from the ashes, the phoenix, from the ashes, new life emerges, new ways. And this is true. Look at the historical, again, the 1940, or, that was World War II. Pre that was the Civil War. It was all about liberation, advancing, moving, elevating humanity. So, it's crucial to recognize when a rebellion is grounded in a carefully considered cause and when it's just a bratty tantrum. So discernment, not getting sucked in. We don't have to consume all of this. We just need to be informed. Stay informed, use discernment, stay centered and grounded, because we need to know, to Channing Nicholas's point, we need to know, when is this grounded in carefully considered cause, or when is this a bratty tantrum? She goes on to say, Uranus will lodge in Gemini for only a few months this year, from the July 7th to November 7th, 2025. But this is just a teaser of a much longer transit that will last until May 2033. So pay attention to any sudden scene changes in your personal life and the wider world. Gemini favors variety, curiosity, flexibility, and the freedom to flit from one topic to another. It's a sign that delights in picking apart an idea, a story, or a car engine to understand how all the moving parts work together. Known for questioning the way things are and considering different perspectives, the sign of the twins, Gemini, could bring ingenious reforms in communication, social media, transportation, and even the economy. This Mercury-ruled sign is concerned with markets of all kinds. With Uranus in the mix, Gemini's spirit of yes and could become extra inventive. As the planet of innovation travels through a sign that's all about language, yapping, and trickster energy, advances in AI technology could also rapidly accelerate. Expect some resistance to the chatbots that remix, repurpose, and let's be honest, plagiarize content we've already produced. Who knows how these clashes with our virtual doubles will unfold, our avatars. But Uranus and Gemini will likely speed up widespread debates on the ethics of AI and the value of human interaction. Switching off your phones and enjoying in real life conversations could feel downright revolutionary in the months and years to come. This aspect about AI and this rage, I just saw a wellness person send out their monthly mailer and all about how they're speaking to, spirit and everything and really kind of pushing humans to, interact with spirit through AI. And I was like, are you kidding me? Yet another way. Now, I have nothing against the positivities of AI. It can be revolutionary and incredible. However, the moment we humans, we divine sovereign beings, stop interacting with Source, ourselves, however you want to label this, the unseen, God, Allah, Buddha, the all that is, the Master Weaver, the host, whatever that higher octave of ourselves, we cannot give that over to a machine, to an artificial intelligence. Contained within us is original intelligence. All we have to do is access it, exercise your soul muscle, reconnect to the unseen. We don't need a machine to do it for us. We never have. So be very wise in this time, because while we're running and advancing forward, can you imagine a world, and it's spoken about, it's in the Bible, it's in many of the religious texts. One beast gives over to another beast its power. One beast, humans, humanity, giving over to another beast its power, AI. Can you imagine the world where it's just this all artificial? Who wants to live in that? You can tell yourself all day long how incredible that is. What it's robbing you of is your soul source connection, your innate ability to receive. And we're doing it 24/7. We're receiving from source, original intelligence. All we have to do is wake up to the fact that that's actually what's really happening. It's not outside of us. It's within us. It is us. So reconnect with your soul, with source. Channy continues, if you've been yearning to free yourself from a limiting story or unhelpful thought pattern, Uranus and Gemini will remind you that it's never too late to flip the script. The best way to work with the gifts of this transit, stay curious, remain flexible, and don't get too attached to your opinions. Socialize outside of your usual circles and start the kinds of conversations that open with, this might sound wild, but it's a yes and. Just be wary of getting swept away by novelty for novelty's sake. Uranus's energy can be unpredictable, and Gemini is the speediest of signs. When the two come together, expect sudden fads, viral trends, and tech innovations to progress faster than we can keep up with. Go ahead of the curve by refreshing your critical thinking skills, discernment, connecting to source. Remember that information overload is not the same as wisdom. and slow down so you can filter all the intel zapping through the air and decide which insights are worth absorbing. Uranus and Gemini teaches us that paying attention can be a truly radical act. It's so, so, so important at this time. And I'll post this whole article from Chani Nicholas. So, because it's number 6 from the unseen. 6 denotes spirit and service. They said the how, in quotes, the how is always God. And again, however you ascribe to that higher power, the unseen, the host, the master weaver, the master builder, the all that is, the architect, the master architect. The how is always original intelligence, source. Period. End of story. Have a nice day. We are co-creators. We receive original intelligence, and then we co-create, co-manifest. It is not when I do intuitive readings with clients it's not me. It's not me, James, the human, doing that. It's source. It's what comes through. And so it doesn't matter the occupation. It is not you who does this. You receive it. You co-create. But it's source. It's the unseen working through us. So now let's move to our our keyword. Our keyword is believe. This is powerful because this word was chosen because believe. To accept something as true, genuine, correct, or real. To have confidence or faith in the truth of something or someone. To have confidence in something or someone. To consider to be true. A sense preserved in keeping one's faith. To be convinced of something or give credence to it. The unseen, as above, so below, they are conspiring on our behalves for our betterment, for our transcendence, this liberating ordeal. It's transformative. It's about believing in that. It's about having the faith and the wherewithal and the fortitude to surrender to your soul source connection, to your soul. It is an inversion of where we've been. The ego, the divine masculine, has been leading. But in this age, in this era, it's the divine feminine. It's the soul that will lead. And the service of the ego, the human, the mind, will be in service to it, in concert with it, however, in service to it. That's true power. That is unmistakable power. So that's our key word. And then I want to go to, there's so much to get to here. I'm going as fast as I can. This is Astrology by Lauren. Uranus enters Gemini. She begins with a quote by Jalal-ud-Din Rumi. You were born with potential. You were born with goodness and trust. You were born with ideals and dreams. You were born with greatness. You were born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly. This is about the soul. This is about a liberating ordeal. This is about the caterpillar to the butterfly. This higher octave of ourselves that we were born with and born to utilize. Astrology by Lauren. Uranus in Gemini is capable of bringing all sorts of revolutionary shifts and twists and turns in the realm of ideas, thought, innovative science, and technology. Uranus abhors stagnation and pushes us to see things from another perspective. Hangman. All the more so in a mutable and changeable air sign such as Gemini that dares us to consider possibilities beyond conventional thinking. There's that window to the soul, to the future. Uranus does not enter Gemini in a vacuum. because all the outer planets are shifting signs as well this year. They are creating this dynamic planetary picture in fire and air. As a result, Uranus enters Gemini while also sextile, that's a harmonious aspect in astrology, sextile Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and trine, another harmonious aspect, Pluto in Aquarius. So this is very auspicious. If anything, this looks like an invitation to climb up to the next rung of our evolutionary ladder. It's to reach, we're going back to where we began, an octave higher. This is to reach to, Neptune, our highest ideals, our higher octave. We all have choices within this paradigm, and how we are going to use them will be up to us both individually and collectively. What it does do is present us with this fabulous opportunity for some sort of innovative growth and progress. This is all about growth and progress. May we all use it and use it well. And then she talks about Astrology by Lauren. She says, here are some of the things that we could expect over the next 7 years with Uranus in Gemini. Technological and scientific innovation and breakthroughs. Being open to new and younger ideas and ideals, which may also place younger people more prominently as innovators of change. Because our souls, the newest generations, the babies coming in, their souls are set. Yes, they're set for this present moment in time. However, they're futuristic. They're for their maturity, their evolution, as we all evolve. Technology that can impact travel. Things moving and changing very quickly, and therefore the need to quickly adapt and multitask is needed. Go with the flow. Be able to multitask. Listen, align, release, renew. Technology that can impact the ways that we communicate and use language. Breakthroughs in understanding the human mind and its impact on education. Gemini has to do with neighborhoods and our surroundings. Uranus tends to break down barriers and borders. This could literally change maps and the way that communities function with one another in the process. Shockwaves, shake, rattle, and roll. Earth shifts its tilts forward. The seismic activity and landmass adjustments, and all of this is on the table. She continues, Astrology by Lauren, what we might want to keep a wary eye on. Aviation accidents or incidents that change the way we do air travel. Sudden and unexpected, perhaps even cataclysmic storms. Gemini, as an air sign, has to do with wind. NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, in the United States, has recently been defunded, firing hundreds of people and slashing the budget by over 25%, which will have an impact on the agency's ability to predict and prepare for severe weather. Cyber attacks, which could become even more unwieldy, dysregulated, and disruptive. The impact of unregulated technologies such as artificial intelligence that can also have an impact on things like intellectual property, reducing critical thinking, misinformation and manipulation of information and data, as well as situations in which AI systems may override human controls, leading to worries about safety, especially when thinking about autonomous weaponry and warfare. This is 2001: A Space Odyssey, where Hal learns that the spaceship crew, is going to turn him off, so he kills them to preserve himself. These are all potential realities, not to harm and scare everyone, but it's to, again, discernment, astrology, but critical thinking. That's what we're talking about here, so that we're making informed decisions for ourselves, as opposed to being sheep who've gone off on our own way or just follow, without any critical thinking, without any connection to source, listening for ourselves. Astrology by Lauren. The elephant in the room, which involves a repeating theme over the last 3 cycles that Uranus was in Gemini. The United States has a unique relationship with Uranus when it is in this sign. It coincides with the American Revolution. The country was founded when Uranus was in Gemini. So the United States was founded. So this is a Uranus return for the United States. Was founded with Uranus in Gemini. The chart she used for the United States, the Sibley chart, dated July 4th, 1776. has Uranus prominently placed near the Gemini descendant. Birthed through a revolution and a Uranian declaration of independence, every time Uranus has returned to Gemini, the United States has been involved in an impactful and major war. These were wars that had a significant role in defining the role that the United States would play in the world. It takes 84 years for Uranus to complete a cycle throughout the entire zodiac. And the second time that Uranus was in Gemini since the founding of the United States was 1858 to 1866. That coincided with the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865, which divided and then reestablished the nation with new and ever-evolving principles. Another 84 years later, when Uranus was yet again in Gemini from 1941 to 1948, it coincided with the American involvement in World War II, and consequently its role on the world stage, particularly its role in forming the United Nations. This was new, and the US had never joined the League of Nations, its predecessor, due to a desire to maintain certain isolationist policies. This changed after World War II, and in 1945, the Senate overwhelmingly approved the UN Charter, allowing the United States to take a quite different role than it had previously. There's massive atrocities. There were atrocities going on in both of these times. Human atrocities. We're seeing this occur now. And yet, in each instance, those atrocities were overcome. Goodness, light, humanity prevailed. On July 7th, Uranus enters Gemini for the fourth time since the American Revolution, where it will remain until July 2033. When we look at the Sibley chart for the United States, not only is Uranus in Gemini at 8 degrees Gemini 55 arc minutes, but so is Mars at 21 degrees Gemini 22 arc minutes. And perhaps it is by some sort of divine intervention or karmic retribution, depending on how you look at it, that the current president of the United States also has a number of placements in Gemini, including his sun, his north node, and his own Uranus. Smack dab on the US Mars, divine masculine, US Mars, in the country's house of allies and open enemies. Not for nothing, this is a very volatile combination prone to destabilization. It is also the very definition of an individual capable of being an agent of chaos and destruction, while the rest of us are being swept along with the ride. Is this moment in time painful? Certainly, yes. And yet, from a divine neutral soul place, is divine, purposeful. In this instance, this combination, I don't know that there's another person in this moment in time that could deconstruct the past, that could raise up with such clarity, raise up the shadow of the past, the goo of the past, that could come in like a wrecking ball to dismantle, which will advance us forward. It's a reactive way as opposed to a proactive way, but this is humans. We get so comfortable. We get all of this, we like our routines and we like what we like and we don't want to change. And yet the world is about change. We go from a soul, an infant, a baby, to an elder. It's all change. So here this is divinely orchestrated. There was an opportunity to go a different way, to have the same kind of deconstruction and construction. It could have been done a different way. Here we are. This is a culmination of choices that places us at this point. So Astrology by Lauren, she continues, So It is also, so it's prone to destabilization. It is also the very definition of an individual capable of being an agent of chaos and destruction while the rest of us are being swept along with the tide. Putting all bias aside, this is simply not someone you want driving the ship. Hence, the feeling of needing to strap on our seatbelts and man the lifeboats with the current presidency, which, if nothing else, is drawing us into a period of unpredictability and volatile change. And so here we are. All that being said, do expect things in your own life to sparkle and wake up, and start moving quickly in whichever area of your natal chart you have the sign of Gemini, and preferably not in a chaotic or unpredictable manner. We have a choice. We're at the dance. How we choose to dance, that's up to us. So whether, again, industries, corporations, businesses, nations, they are comprised of people. Without the people, they cease to exist. We're at the dance. How you choose to dance is up to you. Choose the most auspicious dance for yourself and the most auspicious dance for others. When that light radiates, it's contagious in the most beautiful way. She concludes, Astrology by Lauren, she concludes with a quote by William Wirt. Seize the moment of excited curiosity on any subject to solve your doubts. For if you let it pass, the desire may never return, and you may remain in ignorance. We don't want to remain in ignorance. We want enlightened humans in an enlightened world. And for that to be, we must, in concert with, as above, so below, in concert with, because the arc of destiny, the unseen, it's all moving us forward. So don't remain in ignorance. Open to the way. It may not be your way in a good way, but open to the way. Soul source connection, leading, guiding, and that you listen, you exercise that muscle. And that, because in that sense, you don't need AI in that sense. It's in addition to, but it does not replace it. Original intelligence, source, your knowing, your listening, your GPS, which I've relabeled God positioning satellite, that original intelligence, that's the only thing you need. The rest is in addition to. Last but not least, from number 7 from the unseen, 3 songs came in. Midnight Train to Georgia, Walking in Memphis, and Believe, this Life After Love. Midnight Train to Georgia. There's a beautiful part of the lyrics that says, I'd rather live in his world than live without him in mine. Think about, again, God, Source, Allah, Buddha, the all that is, the Master Weaver, the host. I'd rather live in his world than live without him in mine. It's a mic drop moment. Walking in Memphis. They're talking about Memphis, Tennessee. This is a song by Mark Cohen. Memphis is the capital of ancient Egypt, of a unified ancient Egypt. Walking in Memphis, that Venus conjunct Uranus and that pyramid building and team building, that era, walking in Memphis. There will be flashes. There will be awakenings, flashings, opportunities. Because we've all been there. This is thousands of years later. So our souls, this isn't one time we come in a one-hit wonder and this is our only lifetime and so forth. So, and again, Isis, Venus, walking in Memphis, the capital. This is where the Giza Plateau, it's all part of this unified Egypt, walking in Memphis. And then again, our keyword believe, well, this is You know, do you believe in life after love? What that means is, in the song by Cher, it's about, do you believe in life after love, meaning this loss of something, a loss of a relationship? Well, in this moment, do you believe in life after love? There's a loss. We've had a relationship with the Piscean patriarchal era for 2000-ish plus years. There's a separation. There's a splitting apart. There's a moving beyond. So, do you believe in life after love? Because, of course, in the song, it's about her empowerment, her renewal. It's about recognizing, oh, I know you couldn't come along. You weren't right for me, or whatever it may be. There's this aspect of that. And yet, when you surrender that, everyone's on their journey, their path at different levels. Okay. So when we step into our wholeness, our sovereignty, our higher self, our soul self, the higher octave of ourself, the Aquarian matriarchal era. It's about golden opportunities. It's about pyramid building, team building. It is, and will we get there through, a wrecking ball and shockwaves and unpredictability and all of this stuff? Most likely, but that doesn't have to mean it's negative. It's all divine and neutral. It's just, so it's how we see it. Hanged Man, it's how we see it. New perspective. But this is where we are. And this union of forces, this banding together, this coming together to advance humanity, civilization, our individual selves. Be willing to do so. And do it with just joy. Dance. It's that you're at the dance, or it's, shake, rattle, and roll, to move around energetically, often in a lively or fun way. This doesn't have to be doom and gloom and drudgery. It can be joyful, exciting, fun. It's a choice. How we show up. Yes, there are things, the deconstruction that's happening. However, we can show up in the construction mode. What are we for? What are we renewing? What are we building? What are we letting go of, releasing, to align, to renew? And I just want to close out with our quotes. Quote 1, when close, this is from Chani Nicholas. It's the master at cafeosoul.com. It's a quote from the master. When closely related things do not harmonize, misfortune is the result. Closely related things. Humanity. People. So when closely related things do not harmonize, misfortune is the result. Our next quote, that which is bright rises twice. It means that there's opportunity, there's second chances, and that which is bright, that which is worthy, pure, authentic, good, bright, rises twice. And this is from last week, but it bared repeating, and so I brought it back in. The way is benevolent and excels on bestowing. This is a quote from the master. The way is benevolent and excels on bestowing. This is all happening for us, for you. Again, to Olivia's point, will we survive till then? Yes, we will. By making conscientious, informed, soul source guided choices, decisions, words, actions, deeds. We will. Is it against the backdrop of the deconstruction? Against the backdrop of Uranus and Gemini? Three times before, America's founded in liberating itself from kingship, or a mad king as they've referred to it. That's the first time. Then the American Civil War, slavery, enslavement, liberating from that. Then World War II, horrid atrocities, liberating. And here we are the fourth time. It's yet to be written. We will see what happens. It's not identical. It is cyclical, but not identical. So let's leave it there. There's so much here. Just remember, Uranus and Gemini, they came in like a wrecking ball. It's going to bring clarity. It's a bridge to the past, ... future. There's going to be shock waves and unpredictable things, but it's what the soul values, defines, and radiates. It's foundational. That's where we're going. That's what's on offer. That's purity personified, true luxury. It's a liberating ordeal. It's transformative. Lots of major moves and movements. Forward movement is upon us. Open to the way. It will not necessarily be your way, in a good way. The how is always God. And I'd rather live in his world than live without him in mine. Love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for walking this journey with us. And we will be back next week and see what the unseen has to say. Until then, be well, be safe. If you're celebrating in the US, have a wonderful holiday weekend, and we will see you again next week.